So the day has come. I'm going to start to take apart the old van and get everything out of it, and I have just sold it. So bittersweet. I've had it for a long time, ever since I started the company. I think ultimately it just doesn't allow for our style of productivity anymore, and I just can't hold enough in it anymore. And I just think that it's time that, you know, I part ways with it. As our projects get bigger, our product gets bigger. So having a van that is relatively small worked for smaller jobs, but as now things start to get bigger, I have to start to figure out how to expand. So I haven't figured out what I want to replace it with yet. I really don't like vans. I don't like the connotation of vans. I'm just not a van person. Ultimately, I will not buy another van. But if you have something that may work, just drop it in the comments below, because we do read all of our comments. So I'm gonna take you through it. I'm gonna clean everything out. We're gonna get it de-lettered by our friends next door at Nexus Auto Spa, and it'll be off to its new owner. So stick along with me and I'll start to get it cleaned out. Let's get everything out of here. This is what happens when you have a small van. Everything just gets piled on top of each other and there's just no room. So I built this pack out wall because I thought that it was going to be really efficient and keep everything to the side. And it is efficient. It's just now it takes up like all of this room, and there's really not much room in here to begin with. Wow, this backpack looks mangled. That needs to be gone through. That's not even in here. You know, and then you take old product, like what you take down, and then somehow, instead of throwing it out there, it kind of winds up leaving with you, so then you fill it with that, and there's just so much stuff, and there's just not enough places to put it. But what I carry, this kit, probably can't see it, maybe you can. We have blue anchors with screws, yellow wedge anchors with screws. We got our self-drilling screws, our contractor screws, and some washers. This is kind of like my go-to kit. I pretty much take this out every time I have to install something. This is my cables and connectors box. Vertical cable wall jacks, coax connections, BNC connections, adapters, combiners, splitters, kind of anything that goes in for that is in here. Then you have your green jacks, blue jacks, red jacks, Cat 6, Cat 5e, Cat 6a. You have the ends to them as well, the strain reliefs if you do want to use them. Wire nuts, Wagos, you know, you never know what size wire nut you're gonna need. Some of these gel-filled crimps and non-gel-filled crimps. And then in the center, we just have a basic tester and some other keystone adapters, whether it's HDMI, USB, kind of whatever I would run into. So this has everything I pretty much use in it. I kind of adopted the pack out way, and then the pack out way was the only way. This one is our crimp style connections. So we have our yellows, reds, blues. We have some spades, rings, some more spades. So this will get loaded up with more as time goes on, but this is not used every day, but a really great thing to have, especially for putting speaker wires together or door control wires. This is a great kit, so there you go. Next box. This box was good in practice, just didn't really get used much. It is self-tappers with sealant rings on them. We have rack screws here. We have some concrete screws, different sizes. We have some big lag screws. I normally use these, you know, if we're gonna mount something heavy like a big camera or like one of those big gooseneck arms, because these have a great shear strength to them, but they also can go and penetrate really far into the wood, so that's good. We have some hex head self-tappers. We have some Phillips head, pan head as they call them, self-tappers. These are about 2.5 inches long. We have some drywall screws, and then in here we normally have our anchors. So they're another thing to have. And I mean, that's pretty much it. We have some Ethernet surge protectors, but this box does not come out of here very often or get used very often. Moving down. These were actually 2 pack outs that I implemented because I got tired of running to Home Depot. We use a lot of Liquid-Tight. So 1/2 inch, 3/4 Liquid-Tight, it's the majority of what we use. So what I did was I labeled it on the side here. So this is 1/2 inch Liquid-Tight, and I have some 3/4 to 1/2 inch bushings so that we can adapt it, because most of our boxes sit in the 3/4 inch realm. So then we just adapt it back down to 1/2 inch. So I have some 1/2 inch elbows. I have 1/2 inch threaded adapters here so we can join both of them together. So if we do have to make a longer section or we have to make a break or a turn, we can do that. And then I just have my regular 1/2 inch connections here that are just straights. So very easy kit. I normally keep Liquid-Tight under the seat, and when I use it, I may need 3 or 4 feet of it. So I just wanted to have this instead of constantly having to build a material list and go to Home Depot and pick up everything I needed. That was just something easy, but then you use it and you forget that you got to replenish it. 3/4 is not as heavily used, so I don't have all the little bits and bobs. We don't need bushings here. I don't have connectors here, but I have some 90s and actually no straights. See, that's the problem. Now, you know, you forget to replenish this because there's 1,000 different parts on this van to replenish. This didn't get replenished, and now all that I have is 90s. So this was labeled 3/4 liquid tight, but it does get used, just not as often. Next one, this is kind of a catch-all. These are my compression glands. So in here we have actually some 1-inch liquid tight connectors here, and then I use these a ton. I use these black compression glands. So they either fit into the 1/2-inch boxes, or we use a 3/4-inch compression gland bushing, and then we put these in, and this is great for outdoor wires. If we do, in the event that we have to come outside with an outdoor wire and have to put one of these onto the box to get the wire in to make the waterproof connection, these are such a great thing to have. I buy them on Amazon. You can get like 100 for like $20. So use these all the time. Some electrical tape, some plugs, a couple bushings, a couple bigger ones. So this is kind of a catch-all when it comes to compression glands. As you can see, I'm adopted into the Pack-Out family. Vacuum, self-explanatory, it's Pack-Out. Would not buy again. Let's see this one. Rapid charger, this thing's great. I do wish it did 12-volt batteries. It does not, but they used to make one, and I'd rather take faster charging. This one rings. Beam clamps, some 1/2-inch conduit pieces, some concrete screws, pretty self-explanatory, just beam clamps and rings. So when we're doing pre-construction or office buildings, this is what we'll use because we can just tie to the steel beam. We don't have to make any penetrations. This just clips on, keeps our wires nice and neat. So these are great to have. Very expensive, mind you, but great to have. What else? That's like a lot of the Pack-Out stuff gone. Cable staples, like these never had a home. Hopefully on the new truck they'll find a home. I got this hook here. This hook just holds my aerial harness and then my glue. What else? So I got to take all that apart, and then I'm gonna walk you through what I have in all my drawers over there so you can see what's going on in there. But other than that, this whole sidewall here is gonna come out. The new owner doesn't have a need for it. I'm gonna fix this little piece of flooring. I am gonna leave the floor in because I think it looks nice. And it was very durable. It was a laminate, a vinyl floor just glued down onto a piece of plywood. So that really worked for a long time. And a couple other little things. The light will come down since that uses 120 volts. So let me take you through all the drawers. So top drawer, kind of my miscellaneous catch-all. We have an IQ Wi-Fi. They actually don't even make these anymore, but I just kept them as a spare because some of our customers use these. They were great devices, just IQ just stopped supporting them. Hose bib, don't know why. Cable comb, great item to have. That actually belongs to my electricians. Spare crimper, a couple other cutters, knife, and circuit finder. This is a great thing to have. So kind of miscellaneous. Hardware, speaker snaps, some staples, a media converter, some PoE injectors for 48-volt PoE, Ethernet surge protectors, a couple of their cables, panic buttons. I always keep another panic button in here, PoE injector, surge protector, and another 9303. Label tape that we don't even have the label maker to anymore. And then a TP-Link Pharaoh's bridge with its injector. Kind of miscellaneous, but it's there. Patch cables, armatures, strikes, magnets, covers, kind of everything to do access control in this one. Caulk, some DAP caulk, some quad seal, some just regular, you know, if you have to patch a screw hole or something. More label tape for a label maker that I don't own anymore. This is pretty useful to me, this drawer. We have some butt connectors. Apparently my fetish for butt connectors is still there, but I use a ton of them, so I keep them here. This is all 3 colors too, so red, blue, and yellow. There's the gauges. Heat gun, great to have. Always use it for heat shrink tubing, so I keep this one in here from Home Depot. It's just an assorted kit. Works great. These are more for the automotive world, but I found them that they work great for speaker wires in an outdoor environment because they have the solder in the center there, and then they actually have glue that as soon as you heat it up, it'll actually create a seal around it so that no oxidation gets inside of it. So I actually use these whenever we're working in like an outside environment if we need to attach like our 3.5 mil cables to a mic or something like that. So these are perfect for that. Not line voltage, but perfect for what we need to do. As a security guy, you have to carry resistors. So I bought this pack off of Amazon. They're super cheap, but I always need them. So whenever you're working with like a Qualys system, I use resistors all the time because you have to jump out circuits, you have to close loops, you need them if you're gonna put in like a magnet, and if something happens, it automatically shorts it. So we use these all the time. So I just bought a big kit, and like I said, they're cheap on Amazon to have on the truck, and they're small enough that it doesn't take up a ton of room. Duct seal, self-explanatory. It's useful, it's dirty, but it's useful. I love the Milwaukee M12 soldering iron. I use this thing all the time. Great piece of kit. And works in the 12-volt world. And then some Tessa tape, your insulating tape. Don't really use this often, but there's a use for it. And then the best stuff in the world, VHB. Put anything together, it works and it lasts. Some solder, then a key to our cabinets that we use. We normally use the VVOR enclosures, and this is the key to one of them. So not a ton in this drawer after you get through the resistors and whatnot, but it's enough. Like this, like anything that has to do with electronics is pretty much in this drawer. Not gonna fit. Roto hammer drill bits and lube. String line, and then this is pretty much all the stuff that we would use. We have our long 5/8 bits, 1/2-inch bits, really long bits here. We have our ground rods, chipping bits, 1/4-inch bits. Hardware, unfortunately it gets messier, but some wedge anchors, come across using them a lot. 1/4-inch cable straps for when we do aerial lines. Keep an extra set in here. Some bushings, bolts, kits, headlocks, self-drilling screws, more self-tappers, that's empty, washers, you know, things kind of explode in here. Safety, this is a good drawer. Earplugs, don't use them often, but when I forget my headphones, I use them. Some Velcro. I bought these 4 years ago. I have never, ever used one because I buy the big rolls of them and I just cut my own. So unfortunately, didn't need them. All my Milwaukee pens, I do paint mine green so that I know that they're mine. Some of these blades, I like to use a carpet knife for everything. They're just super sharp, so I buy them. Some plastic, and then some just regular black gloves. Getting down to bottom, this is drill bits, which is not really drill bits, because there's some drill bits, but the Klein magnetic wall tool, right in there. Not as good as the Jonard Tools ones, but it's a backup. It just lives in here. Some of our Torx and our hex keys, and then we have our other socket set here. This is a bit set that's empty. These are mice. These are really cheap on Amazon, and I think every electrician or every low voltage guy should have these. The plastic bag works. These work even better. So this is every size mouse for, you know, the majority of the size conduits that we would use, or mice, and these are great things to have. Mag tray, you know, your bits and magnets and stuff get tied to it, but that is the passenger side pack outs, and now we'll go to the driver's side and show you them. Alrighty, so on to the driver's side. So this is a little bit different of a setup over here. Up top, we have a couple patch cables. We have some other cables here, our DAC cables. We keep a couple PoE switches in here, and then coax cable, some other cords, an adapter for a PoE switch. So kind of like switches, patch cables, networking stuff. Miscellaneous tools. This is batteries and blue tape. So 18-volt batteries and 12-volt batteries. I primarily run Milwaukee, but you do see me use a DeWalt drill, so batteries. These were just never relabeled, so like I said, I like to keep a good amount of stock on the truck. I use these weatherproof boxes. I have 1/2-inch, I have 3/4-inch, and then I also keep these ones as well, these 2x2x4s, and then I can make my own hole wherever I need them to go, and I just pick these up at my local electrical supply house, and I use them. Sometimes if you have to put like a bullet camera on it, I mean, there's so many uses, just junctions or using it with liquid tight, so this is really great. Now these are 4 drawers. Before we add another 3 and 3, so 4 instead of 6 drawers. This is kind of more stock. I keep my beam clamps and rings here. I keep another 4-port PoE switch. I keep some batteries. I keep a plug end. This, as a low voltage installer, you need these if you're ever touching a Samsung. These are the RS232 adapters to the Samsung 3.5 mil adapter. So cheap on Amazon. I keep them in here because I always run into a situation where Samsungs do not like IP control with Savant. So we just RS232 it and it works fine. Keystone, Cat5e to Cat5e. I keep an extension cord. I keep a couple fiber adapters in here. That's the power supply to this PoE switch, and then another AF PoE injector. Another piece of liquid tight connector there. And then, so I keep another 2x2x4, and then I keep a 4x4x4 4. Oh, that's a 4x4x2. This is a 4x4x4. So a little bit deeper, but I have had run into situations where I need a little bit more depth. So that's there, a couple more boxes, and then I keep a plethora of covers. So all of my just blank, weatherproof, metallic covers for those boxes. I keep them in here. I keep a circular one too. Don't always need it, but hey, it beats running to the hardware store. Going down, roto hammer, grinder, 3/8 stubby impact. Don't use this all the time, but it's great when you're doing aerials or you just need a shorty impact driver, another battery, and some other bits and bobs. Drills and impact. I keep a jigsaw on this truck. I didn't want to keep a circular saw, and the jigsaw has never let me down and it cuts everything. Drill, the 3-inch 12-volt cutoff saw, which is a godsend. Another impact driver. This is really loud, so it doesn't get used often. And then a big hole saw, another battery, and some other bits and bobs down there. Next one, recip saw. This is a 12-volt one. It's perfect for cutting conduit if we're in a lift or, you know, whatever we have to do. I love a 12-volt. I never really saw the point in carrying an 18-volt, and if I would have bought one for this truck, but this is perfect. Set that over here. I use this a lot, the hammer vac. It attaches to that rotary hammer. It's got a HEPA filter in it, and it's great not breathing the silica dust from that. The depth stop works perfect, so another good unit to have. I recommend it. You got a rag, you got some cutoff wheels, you got another battery, you got the side handle for your Milwaukee drill. We have some 1-inch liquid tight. Over here we had some drill bits, 1/2-inch conduit bender, a dust pan. That's pretty much it for this side. So now I'm gonna start to take all this out, and then we'll pretty much have an empty van. So I'll set you back up for that. Somebody wants to create an invention out there, create a case for these that doesn't break as soon as you buy it. So like, you know, I understand PVC, anything tough, rough, somebody should design that. Can make a fortune. Alrighty, van is cleaned out officially. Look at that, all nice and clean. And then it'll just be detailed on the outside and it'll be ready to go. So today is a bittersweet day. I get rid of the van. This has been great to us. It's served us really well. But down in the comments below, I want you to leave your opinions on what I should get next for the company to replace this van. So since I'm not a van person, hopefully it's not another van, but maybe a pickup truck or something else that may suit us better. So comment below, like and subscribe, and we can't wait to show you what's gonna come next.